What's up, Moxie? HomeWOD day number 65 going down right now. All right, we have two pieces going down today. 360 degrees. It's an 18-minute AMRAP for our metabolic conditioning. We also have some gymnastics conditioning work that's going to focus on shoulder stamina. Let's talk about 360 degrees first. We have this workout right in between two really intense days. Moxie made me at home 20.3, and then the floater workout, a 1 mile run. We want today to really function more as a recovery workout, if you will, rather than being like a full send effort on its own. So we have an 18-minute AMRAP here. It's a longer time domain, which allows me to move a little bit more slowly. And we have some pretty easy movements. We have 20 burpees, 20 single arm dumbbell rows, and we have 20 farmer's carry lunges, okay? None of these movements should be absolutely destructive, right? We're not doing anything super fast. We're not doing anything too intense. So we should be really able to moderate our intensity throughout this entire workout. In particular, the first 15 minutes of 360 degrees should be uncomfortable but controlled. I should be able to decide if I'm going to go a little bit faster, if I'm going to go a little bit slower, and how much I'm going to do that. It shouldn't be dictated by the needs that I have based on, maybe my lungs are super fatigued or something similar. Now, for the last 3 minutes of this workout, then we want to try to pick up that pace a little bit so that we're not just going to live in this kind of uncomfortable domain, but we do want to touch some intensity there at the finish. So the first 15 minutes, keep it controlled, finish with an aggressive 3 minutes, and then, we'll have touched that intensity, but we should leave feeling just as good, if not better, than when we came in. Now, a couple comments about 360 degrees. Number one, Murph is coming, all right? That's gonna be 6 days from now. So if we haven't done pull-ups in the last 10 weeks or so, but we know that I can do pull-ups and I wanna do pull-ups in Murph, we need to try to incorporate some pull-ups into the rest of this week. Now, we have single arm dumbbell rows today. So if you have access to a pull-up bar or have an option to work on some pull-ups today, today's a great time to do that. Now, we want to keep the volume pretty low though. So we're certainly going to cap total number of pull-ups at 60, period, okay? So if we're going to do pull-ups, we have two options. One, and I think this is the best option, is to reduce the number of reps each round to 10 pull-ups instead of 20 single arm dumbbell rows. And that's going to give us 6 rounds. But if we don't want to do that, if we want to keep the bigger sets of pull-ups and do 20 at a time, then we're only going to do 3 rounds of this workout with 20 pull-ups, regardless of how long that takes. And then for the remainder of the 18 minutes, we're going to go back and do single arm dumbbell rows, just like we would have done otherwise, okay? So that's how we're going to incorporate some pull-ups into this, if that's something that we want to do for Murph, okay? The other movement that's a little bit different today is the farmer's carry lunge. The way that's going to work, we're going to have one dumbbell by our sides, and we're going to do 10 alternating lunges, holding the dumbbell, let's say in my right hand first, and then once I do those 10 lunges, I'm going to swap hands, do 10 on the other side. This is just going to tax my obliques a little bit more than I would normally get if I were doing a front rack lunge or a goblet lunge like we've kind of historically done. This is just to change that stimulus up a little bit, make it a little bit more about the midline and a little bit less about our legs. Now, the other piece we have today is our gymnastics conditioning. We spent a lot of time working on L-sits in the past, and we're transitioning now away from that midline focus into a shoulder stamina focus. Now, what we have today, it's 4 sets. We're going to do a 30-second hollow hold, followed by a 1 set of strict handstand push-ups, followed by really going directly into a 30-second handstand hold against the wall. Now, the hollow hold, just to get a little bit of midline work in there, we can always be better at hollow body. The set of strict handstand push-ups, that's going to be 40 to 50% of your max set of handstand push-ups if you happen to know what that is. Now, if you don't, we're going for a pretty sustainable number here because we're going right from this set of handstand push-ups into that handstand hold against the wall. So I finish that last rep, and then I'm going to be hanging out in that finished position. That's going to be a pretty aggressive way to really tax those shoulders, and it's going to tax us in a way that we're not necessarily used to. So be conservative, especially on that first round. And then let's try to keep our numbers consistent across these 4 rounds for that single set of strict handstand push-ups. Now, if we're not doing strict handstand push-ups today, we do still want to get inverted. So we have 2 main scaling options for the strict handstand push-up. We can either do standard pike push-ups, which we did a video on about a couple of weeks ago, where feet are on the ground, we kind of start in a downward dog, right? We send that head forward, and then we press back up, head touches the ground, obviously at the bottom, or we can do it with our feet elevated, right? On whatever surface you have available. Same sort of thing, we're gonna start locked out at the top, head touches the ground, press back up. One comment I do wanna make, regardless of which pressing variation we're going with, we wanna make sure that at the top, our head is through our shoulders, okay? Just like we would be if we had a barbell overhead or anything else, we want that overhead position. Now, the other thing that's worth noting though, is that your head's not gonna stay kind of through your shoulders, right? Through the entire movement. In fact, whenever you're at the bottom, whenever your head touches the ground, you should be able to see your hands because your head is in front. It feels a little bit counterintuitive, but this is really gonna help us build the strength that we need to maybe take this to the wall or just get better at our strict pressing movements, okay? And then after that, we're gonna go right into some sort of inverted hold. I would recommend either staying with a foot-elevated pike position, or if you wanna do maybe like a wall walk and hold a partial handstand or a full handstand facing the wall, that's a totally legit option as well, okay? I hope this stuff helps you guys get ready for your stuff today. Log those results on HomeWOD, get after it, but bear in mind, we've got a 1 mile time trial tomorrow. Let's be ready for it. See you guys then, Moxie.